Let's take a look at a second piece of evidence now, and it's called the Caiapha inscription. Now, this is another more recent discovery than past ones. This is a recent one because this was discovered in just 2008, not that long ago. And it was found very close to the Valley of Elah. And it's a piece of pottery with writing on it. Now, we've talked about this, and if you've listened to some other lessons of mine, ancient pottery, everything was done with pottery. Cookware was done with pottery, et cetera, et cetera. They just didn't put, philodendrons in them and hang them on the windowsill. Pottery was used for cooking. It was used for carrying water, et cetera. They had all different uses for it. Foods were put in it and stored in it. When pottery broke, the little pieces you just discard. Bigger pieces of broken pottery would be used as the original Post-it notes. And not just Post-it notes, that was what you would write letters on. You could do inventory. Stores and stuff would keep lists of things on broken pieces of pottery. So broken pottery, we call this, when it has writing on it, an ostrakhan. An ostrakhan, broken piece of pottery with writing on it, was found up on in the Caiapha area, which is right next to the Valley of Elah, right above the Valley of Elah. That's where David and Goliath had their famous battle. But there's a little village there. As they were excavating in 2008, they came across this broken piece of pottery. Now, this is pretty good size. This is a good 15 centimeters, almost square, in its little odd shape. But the thing is, there's different lines of writing on it. And what is written on here is absolutely amazing because it's describing an event. Some unknown person, we have no idea because they didn't put their name on it, but some unknown person wrote something that he obviously was witnessing and that he had seen in the news of the day, and he put it on a piece of broken pottery and sent this to someone telling them about the event. Now, what it's talking about is describing an event where, and it mentions on here, how the people of Israel have been having judges as their rulers. No kings yet. They hadn't had a king. They've been having judges, which is exactly what the Bible says. The book of Judges names these different judges in this period from after the time period of the conquest with Joshua till you get into 1 Samuel where we get the first king. So they had judges in between. Many of these were very famous. Samson was a judge, Gideon was a judge, Samuel was a judge, etc. But the thing is, what this is describing is the nation of Israel no longer has a judge. We now have a king. Yes, and who's the first king? Was Saul. This is all described in the Bible in 1 Samuel chapter 9. Now, we can get an idea from the biblical chronological order of when this took place. This would have been around 1050 or so BC, give or take a few years. Around 1050 BC is when Saul, we believe, became king. Thus, this thing dates back. Now, remember what the college professor said? Hebrew people didn't have a written language till 425 BC. This is 1050 BC. So again, here's a piece of evidence showing these college professors are not quite correct on this. And so this is actually describing here that we no longer have a judge, we have a king. That's a remarkable piece of history. And it just goes on to show some fabulous things that the Hebrew people definitely had a written language. Matter of fact, there are so many ostrakhans, so many pieces of ancient writing dating back to almost the time of Joshua to this day. It's remarkable how many of these things have been found.
Thanks for tuning in, and thank you to our donors who make this program possible. Evidence for Faith is a 501c3 nonprofit ministry based in the USA. You can support this broadcast by donating online using the links in the description, and don't forget to leave us a comment, a review, likes, and shares to feed the algorithm and help others find this content. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next episode.